Join me as we learn Chumash for Friday, the sixth Torah reading of Parshas Emor, chapter 23, verse 33. Yesterday we learned about the importance of the festivals and how to observe Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Today we move on to the festival of Sukkot. Verse 33. Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe lemer, God spoke to Moshe saying, Daber al Bnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people, lemer, saying, B'chamisha asar yom l'chodesh, on the 15th day of the month, Hashvi of the 7th month, Azeh, this 7th month, Chag HaSukkos is the festival of Sukkot, of huts, Shivas Yamim al Hashem, 7 days to God. Verse 35, on the first day will be a day of holiness. Any mundane work should not be done. Verse 35, Mikra Kodesh, what does it mean called holiness? B'Yom Kippurim, even though that it already said Mikra Kodesh that we mentioned by Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, Mikra Kodesh means call it holy, sanctify it by clean clothing, prayer. However, when it comes to all the other holidays, it should be sanctified by eating, drinking, clean clothing, and prayer. Verse 36, Shivas Yamim Takrivu Ishal Hashem, 7 days you should bring sacrifices to God. But Yom HaShmini, on the 8th day, Mikra Kodesh should also be sanctified. Yilachem should be for you, should be a holy day for you. Be'ekraftem Yisham al Hashem, and bring sacrifices to God. Atzeresi, it's a day of holding back. Kol malachas aveda lisasu, any mundane work should not be done. A day of restrictions, no mundane work should be done. Atzeresi, what does it mean, Atzeresi? So Rashi explains, if already we had the 7 days of holiday, what does this mean? Atzeres, hold back. Atzarti eschemeli, I held you back with me for another day. Meaning, like a king that invites his children for a meal. For a certain amount of days. It came time to say goodbye. Emor, he said, Banai, my children, can I beg of you? Stay with me one more day. It's difficult for you to leave on this day. The Rebbe explains many times, what does it mean just by staying one more day? How's that going to help? Meaning that the energy that he's going to get in this day is going to be able to sustain them for the days to come. Even a work which is difficult for you, if you're not going to do it, there's going to be a lack of money. But this is also prohibited. Even though you say, oh, it's not work, I'm not working so hard. But any work which means a lack of money is defined by work, and that's not to be done on a holiday. I would think that means even during the intermediate days, one would not be allowed to work. Therefore it says, you're not allowed to work on this day, but the days in between, you're allowed to. Verse 37. These are the festivals. These are appointed times by God. That you will call them holy days. To bring sacrifices to God. Scent offerings, meal offerings, sacrifices and libations. Each day in its required amount and prescribed sacrifices for that time. This refers to minchas nesachim, the meal libations, which will come with the ascent offering. Whatever is enumerated in the book of Numbers of the different sacrifices that have to be brought on that particular time. It has to be brought that specific day. If the day passed, the sacrifice can no longer be brought. 38. This is all except, that means the obligations of the sacrifices, these are besides the regular Shabbos offerings, and besides your gift offerings, and besides the ones of your vows that you make, besides the ones that you donate, dedicate, that you will give to God. Verse 39, but in contrast, that you will also bring on the 15th of the month, the 7th month. When you gather the wheat of the ground, you will celebrate a celebration of God, Shivas Yamim for 7 days. The first day is holy, and the 8th day is holy as well. On the day of rest. Rashi, Karban Shlomim Lachagiga. Over here he's telling us that when you have to bring, besides the special sacrifices that were brought, you also bring a peace offering for the holiday. I would think Then I would think that the same way that the additional offerings postpone the Shabbos, override the Shabbos, so too this should as well. Being that you're able to bring it for the other 7 days, they do not postpone the Shabbos. Meaning that this 7th day should come out on a time when it is time to collect the wheat. This teaches us that they would make a leap year, and the leap year would work out. If you don't make a leap year, then it can happen that all the festivals get mixed up. You can have Pesach in the winter, in the spring, in the summer, so therefore you have to make the leap year. The leap year would help us to organize and keeps the holidays in their proper agricultural time. The Chayigu, you should celebrate. How do you celebrate? Shalmei Chagiga, by bringing the peace offerings of the sacrifices, of the holiday. Shivas Yamim, 7 days, meaning if you didn't bring it on day 1, you can bring it on another day. I would think you have to bring it all 7 days. 1 day, singular. Why is the day the 7? The Tashlumim that you have 7 days to make it up. What else should you be doing on this holiday? Verse 40. And then before you also take on this day, on the first day, Pri Tzadar, a beautiful fruit, which refers to the esrog. Pri Tzadar, a fruit of the citron of the tree. Kapis Tamarim, date palm frond. Avanaf eitz avis, branches of a myrtle bush. Va'arve nochal, and braided, which are braided. And as well, va'arve nochal, 2 willow branches, which grow next to a brook. Usmachtem lefnei Hashem alekechem, you'll rejoice with these in front of God. Shivas Yamim, for 7 days. Rashi explains all these kinds of fruit, as the Talmud tells us how we know what these fruit mean. Pri Eitz Hadar. Pri Eitz Hadar, what is this referring to? Eitz, it says a wood. Shetam Eitz Euperi Yeshavi. It's a type of tree which is referring to the esrog, that the taste of the tree, of its branch and its fruit are the same. Hadar, what does it mean? Beautiful, also comes from the word that lives. Hadar bilani mishana l'shana, that stays on the tree from year to year, it doesn't fall off. Zeo esrog, this refers to an esrog. Kapis tamarim, this is referring to the palm branches. Chaser vav, it's missing a vav. Limer chein elek echas, it only has to be one. One has to take one lulav while everything, and one esrog while everything else, it's multiple. Anafetz avis, shanofav, what is referring to a myrtle branch? A tree that its branches, kluyim, they're interwoven and braided, kavaisus chavalim, like ropes. V'zeu adas, and this is the myrtle, osikamin kliya, that's made braided. Verse 41. The Chagoyim, you will celebrate Chag Hashem as a festival of 7, Chag Hashem Shivas Yamim, a festival of God for 7 days. Bashan in the year, Chukas Olam the Reisechem, an eternal rule throughout your generations. By Chodesh Shvi in the 7th month, Techoyu, you should celebrate it. Verse 42. Basukes Teishvu Shivas Yamim, you must live in huts for 7-day period. Kol HaEzrach BeYisrael, every native of the Jewish people, BeYisrael and the Jewish people, Yeshvu Basukes, should live in huts. HaEzrach. What is the Rashi? Ezrach, this is the native. Be Yisrael, amongst the Jews. Rabbi says, I gave him to include even the converts. Verse 43, why are you doing this mitzvah? So the generation should know. That the generation should know that I had Israelites live in huts, meaning the clouds of glory. I have settled the Jewish people. When did I do this? By Yitzhak, when I took them out of Egypt. I am their God. But Rashi asks, when is this a time that God had put us in huts? So Rashi explains, hey, Manani Akavid, these are the clouds of glory that protected the Jewish people, like a hut that protects a person from all sides. Verse 44, and Moshe spoke these appointed times to the Bnei Yisrael, the appointed times of God, Bnei Yisrael, to the Jewish people. This concludes the 6th Aliyah of Parshas Emor.